Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. And what are we reviewing this time? Lords of the Fallen 2023 version. All right, Lords of the Fallen 2023, not to be confused with the 2014 Lords of the Fallen, is an action role-playing game developed by Hexworks and published by CI Games. It's utilizing the Unreal Engine 5, so that's pretty nifty. Came out on Windows, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, so you cannot use it on your old gen systems. It is a new gen game only, and is not on the Switch either. Came out on October 13th of 2023. And it is single player with some multiplayer. It does have co-op. You can pretty much play the entirety of the game cooperatively. The only problem is, the host gets all the luxuries, whereas the co-op partner is just really they kind of there to help you. They do get some things, but we'll go into that. And then, of course, the PvP stuff, like people can invade your game and stuff like that. If you turn that on, you can turn off the online aspect to where people can't invade your game and stuff like that, if you wanted to. So this is it's a reimagining, a remake of Lords of the Fallen, the original game. So the different developer, the original game was Deck 13. This one's Hexworks. And so it shares the same name and some similarities between the original and this one, but ultimately it's more of its own thing in a sense, kind of a trying to take this IP and make it into something, right? So we'll go to Shane here and see what he thinks of Lords of the Fallen. Shane, what did you think?
Well, thank you for going to me first. It's not Elden Ring. It's not Souls. It's not good. I mean, that really is the only way to put it. And what makes, in my opinion, what makes this game so bad is that it's trying to do a million things. Your controls are so overcomplicated, over cumbersome. You have a typical light and heavy attack. You have magic. You have a magic lamp. You have the ability to go from one world to another world with your magic lamp, but your magic lamp also does certain attacks and it weaken enemies. It'll do all sorts of things. And it's so much to remember. It's so much to do. It's so much to follow. It's hard to keep up. It really, for me, I am not the biggest Souls gamer. Loved Elden Ring. And it's really hard for me to find another game as good as Elden Ring. I mean, there's other games that are probably in the ballpark, but for somebody like me that's not a big Souls guy, Elden Ring is still the shizness. So I think kids still say that shizness. But the game tries to do way too much. It tries to be so much, and it just fails on it. Because everything in the game is really interesting, idealed. It's just the outcomes of those ideals aren't the greatest. If you push up on the D-pad, it does your the word I'm looking for? It does your projectile attacks, things like that. You can throw rocks and crossbows and whatever, while still maintaining your sword swings and whatnot. You could do two-handed, one-handed. You can do two-handed at the same attack if you hold left bumper, right trigger, kind of a thing. It's just too much. It's way too much. It would have been better if they would have took the two different world aspect and made it more mission based. And what I mean by that is real world. You're going to A to B, blah, blah, blah. But in the Phantom world, I can't remember what they called it, but the ghosty world, that should have been its own thing with the lantern and those abilities and things like that. That should have been its own little, not a mini game, but it should have been its own part of the game, its own missions, its own story pieces. That's what it should have been about. But instead, you use the lamp to go from this world to a little bit of a puzzle things and a little bit of enemy things, and it's just too much. They want to be too much. I think they're trying to avoid the Demon's Souls, Elden Ring, I'm a knockoff kind of thing by going extra, and they didn't need to, because the world is nice looking. Nick experienced quite a bit of lag off and on when we were playing cooperatively. I really didn't have any major issues. I think it crashed once to the desktop. So nothing super terrible on my end, but Nick definitely experienced it more. Definitely run on performance. I switched over to render just to check it out. It played like crap. It was terrible. Performance is the only way to run it. Now, granted, we did play on Xbox. Now, apparently the PC and PS5 versions do run a bit smoother. Don't know. I haven't experienced it, but let us know if you're playing PS5 or PC and if it runs well for you. But I don't care for this game at all. I think they want to be too much. I think they want to do too much, and I think their world is interesting. I think their characters are very interesting. The character creator kind of sucks ass, but it looks very outdated and antiquated. So. But, those are my big words for this review. So, Nick, what about you? Do you feel like I feel? Do you feel what I feel?
Somewhat. I mean, I think the game is okay and I'm a big Souls fan. I've beaten all the Souls games and everything like that. So I'm a big fan of these types of games. And this one, it does, you are correct. It does do a lot with the lamp and everything like that. There's a lot of controls that get thrown at you at the very beginning of the game. And as I've played more of the game, I've gotten used to what all the controls do, but it's a huge learning curve. And for a lot of people, I think that might throw them off because it did it first for me, because it was like, I couldn't remember what the lamp did and what everything the lamp does and all this stuff. As I played it more, I got used to knowing what each control was for the lamp and various things, but it took a lot of time, right? There's a huge learning curve to learning all of the aspects of everything that this game does. And I agree with you that with the lamp, you can basically go into the umbral realm, which is the hidden dark realm or whatever. And it's used in some cool aspects where you can use the lamp to, like, for example, you might come up to a grate and you're like, I can't get through here. But if you put your lamp up, the grate's not there and you can walk right through, which is cool. But you do have enemies on the other side, right? And those enemies could hit you while you're using your lamp, which puts you into the umbral area. There's various things that can knock you into the umbral area. And then there's sometimes where you have to go in there to do some sort of puzzle solving. You can't get across an area, so you have to go into the umbral area, because in the umbral area you can get across there, right? There is a bridge that shows up. That's a really cool aspect as far as the look goes. The aesthetic, like seeing the world in both realms, is really neat. There's some really neat like set pieces that are thrown out in different areas and stuff. The graphically and aesthetically, as far as the landscapes and stuff like that go, there's some really nice looking areas of the game. But I agree with Shane that the one aspect I don't really care for is I don't care for using the lamp to go into the umbral area. When I get into that area, I think they could fix it by making it easier to get out, right? Because once you get into the umbral area, you can't just, you could use your lamp to get in there, right? But you can't just use your lamp to get out of it. You have to find either a bonfire, which in this case they're statues, but very similar thing, right? Or you have to find these little statues that will pop you out of them. And in some areas, those are pretty, you find them not too far off the beaten path, right? You'll find one just up the road. And in some areas, you'll go on forever and never come across the save point or one of those. And you're like, where is one? Because as you stay more in this area, the more monsters attack you. The Eye of Sauron, I guess. I don't know what it is, but this eyeball can watch you as you're in that realm. And as you're in that realm more and more times, you get these little blips that pop up in the little next to the eye. And the more blips you get, the more enemies attack you. By the third blip, the eye turns red, and then it's really difficult if you don't get out of there, which I've been in that situation, and enemies pop up everywhere. So I wish you could just use the lamp to get in and out of the area instead of having to find these statues and stuff. Cause it's like, I can use the lamp to get there, but I can't get out as easily as I can get into it. So I agree with Shane that I wish it was more like maybe there was just certain sections where you were in that umbral area. Like it something happens and you go into that realm and that's like that set piece is in that realm and then you're out of it. Right. Or something to that effect. And not having to swap back and forth between the two. Because there's a lot of roadblocks in the game that make you go into that realm in order to progress, right? You have to go in there. So, but it is what it is. I mean, that's just what they've utilized with it. But you can use the lamp for various things, attacking to attack enemies, to pull enemy spirits, which you can do additional damage to them. And you can also use it to unlock these little statues that have items that you can pull from them and various other things. So it's got a cool, some cool ideas. I think a lot of ideas. I think I agree with Shane. They put a little bit too many ideas in there. I think they could have just went a little bit more simple with the game. Is the game bad? I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. Two Souls-like games, right? Because Souls-like's a genre now. Two Souls-like games came out very close to the same time. This one, Lords of the Fallen, and Lies of P. I loved Lies of P. I thought Lies of P was way better than this game, as far as the action and the locations and combat and just overall, the game overall, right? If someone were to say, which one would you play or which one do you prefer? For somebody like looking to play one or the other, I would say play Lies of P. I think that one's a better choice. But is this a good Souls game? I think so, as far as the Souls games go. And what I mean by that is I've played some much worse ones than this when it comes to that. The worst thing this game has going for it, besides the stuff I've already mentioned, is the performance. This game, the Xbox didn't get the patch that PlayStation and PC had already. They did release the patch today, the day of us reviewing the game. And I don't know what it fixed or if it helped with anything. I was playing the game earlier today, and there's this through the game you go through this town that's all on fire, and that I don't know if that is the worst, but it might be the worst performance laden area. I mean, there were so many times my frame rate was probably in the single digits, and I have it on performance mode, and it would just like chug. And before the patch, though, which I think the patch may have fixed, is before that, there's a bridge where you fight a boss on this bridge. And before the patch, when I was playing it the other day, I was trying to fight this boss on the bridge, but the performance was so bad that I would get hit by the boss and stuff like that. And I couldn't move my character around because the frames would stutter and stuff. So I didn't know where I was. And I was like, this is going to be impossible for me to kill him. But after the patch, I fought him and there was no issues with frame rate or anything on that bridge. But when I got to the town, that was soon after that bridge, a little ways, there was several spots where the frame rate just died. Didn't kill my game, but definitely, you could definitely tell the performance is an issue. So this game probably needed some more time to cook, to kind of get more of the bugs and performance issues out of the way. It also has an issue, which hopefully they can fix with patching, where is the most annoying thing in this game, where is just the lock-on system. Every Souls-like game has a lock-on system, but for some reason, this game, when you lock onto an enemy, it likes to lock onto an enemy that's like on the other side of the map instead of the one right in front of your face. and you're like, why am I looking at this guy? Like he's all the way over there. I don't, he can't even hit me. I don't care about him, but it'll lock on to like that dude over there. And then you move to someone else, and it locks on to the guy that's like next to him over there. And you're like trying to get away from the dude in front of you, because you're like, he's going to smack me if I can't lock on to him. So it's got some issues there. It definitely has some bugs, some frame rate issues and things like that. However, I think if Hexworks does a Lords of the Fallen 2, I think that, if they were to work on these issues and stuff like that, I think it could potentially be a franchise for them. So I don't know. I think it's better than the first one, the original Lords of the Fallen, if that's any account. But it does have a lot of issues. It's got a lot of bugs and a lot of things that need to be fixed and should have been fixed before releasing this game. So take that as what it is. I think it's an okay game. I think it's a $70. I think it's a $70 game. So I don't know. If you're really itching for a Souls-like and you've already played Lies of P, then I guess you could pick it up. But I would probably wait for it to go on sale, and then maybe by that time they'll have a lot more bug patches out and fix a lot of the issues that the game has. Because the issues are, it doesn't make the game non-playable, but they can be very frustrating. And for an average consumer, unless you're, used to Souls-like games, for an average player, you're that's the stuff like that's going to basically stop you from playing, I think, pretty early on. I know. Luckily, this game does have the co-op though. So if you do have like a friend that's really good at these games or really into these games, you could play that with co-op, where you're the host and your buddy who's just helping you out is the co-op guy. Me and Shane did play a little bit of co-op. So for that one, you can talk to NPCs to upgrade things and stuff like that. I don't think you can talk to them to buy stuff. I don't remember. And, most of the items, you can pick up items sometimes, but I think those items only drop for you, the co-op guy. Whereas, the host, they can open up chests and get items from that, and they can get items that are out in the world and stuff like that. Sometimes an item might drop off a enemy, and you as the co-op guy can get that. Plus the stuff you get to upgrade your character. I believe what I read is the co-op guy only gets like 30% of the actual experience or something like that. So it's good in the sense of like, if you're playing the game solo and your buddy wants you to come in, you get to bring in your character from your solo game. So that will help you like gain some experience. So you could probably level up your character like, a couple of times when you guys are done playing, and you might pick up an item that, is worth your time or something while you're playing. It won't be anything like special, but you might pick up some more items that, for curing status elements and stuff like that, like poison and stuff. So yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't like the game. It's there's so much promise there, but they hurt for somebody like me that's not a huge Souls guy. They definitely hurt my what could have been love for the game, because I like the world, I like the characters and all that, but they're just too much, just too many things they want you to do right off the bat. There's too many things that are just, you have to remember, and that's just too much for me. I just want to be able to stab you, you die, tuck and roll, stab you, you die, little block, stab you, you die,
Yeah. And I mean, these games are tough, and, Souls-like ish games are not for everyone. Right.
No. Well, my biggest problem with most Souls-like games, but this one here, the regular enemies, I didn't really have too much of a problem with. It was when we got to the boss. The first boss just infuriated me so goddamn much. And your controls are not, they're not great. So let's say
Yeah.
I hit my light attack button, I hit it, and then it goes. Not hit it and it moves exactly what you're supposed to. I don't think that's a tech issue. I think that's just a gameplay, the way it's set up. I don't like that. When I hit my button, it needs to do it at the exact same time, not a hair later at all. So, and games like this, you cannot afford that delay, that hesitation in your swings and stuff. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm not great at these games. I don't know, but I don't like the controls not being tight enough for this type of gameplay. So, but if they would have tightened that up, I wouldn't have had near as many problems with the game as far as the gameplay goes. It's just there's just too much.
Yeah. And I don't know if I couldn't really tell if the patch fixes because when I first played it, I noticed that too with the controls. It seemed to be like a delay in input. I don't know if the patch resolved that or not. I honestly don't know. I was playing it earlier today after the patch, but I wasn't paying attention. So I don't know. I have to play it again to see if it seems more responsive, but this game definitely needs more patches and needs more things fixed in it. But it is what it is. I think they've done a good effort. Good effort. Is what I give them. It's an okay game. Like I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Right. As much as I loved Lies of P. I thought Lies of P was. I mean, I played through it, beat it, and then started playing through it again. I'm like halfway through the game again, right? Because you do New Game Plus.
Yep.
So
I haven't had time to get that far in it, but I like it much better. The controls are a lot better.
It performs well and it's very responsive.
It looks really good too. It's really,
it looks really good.
It's really good overall. So
yeah. So if those two came out around the same time, maybe like a month apart, something like that. So if I were to again say pick one for you to play, if you've never played, if you're interested in playing one of these two and wanted to play one, I say Lies of P is the better option. But it's up to you. You're the person paying for it, right?
Yeah, P would definitely get the W on this battle.
Yeah,
Lords of the Phelan.
Lords of the Phelan. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was really hoping. I was looking forward to this game. I'm still going to play through it and probably finish it. But it's not one of my favorite ones. But like I said, I've played worse Souls-like games. Much worse. So this doesn't make it into the much worse camp because I have played some that are just god awful. That just make the game like the game's just hard for the sake of being hard. Like it's not, there's no strategy behind combat or anything. It's just unrelenting difficulty, and it's like that doesn't make a Souls. Like Souls can be played. It's just you got to have that balance between things. So yeah, the enemies in this game are pretty. Most of them are pretty easy they're kind of just fodder to kind of kill. And this game does throw more enemies at you than most Souls-like games, where you get like tier 2 to maybe 3 enemies at a time, where this game you could be in an area with 5, 6, 7 enemies at a time, right? But they're easier to take out. And I think this game too, besides the first boss that Shane and I had some issue, because when the host dies, then it's game over and you have to try again, right? So even if I'm alive and Shane gets killed on the first boss, then we have to try again. But most of the bosses so far have been fairly, I don't know, they've been fairly easy. I've killed most of them pretty much, first or second, third try on them and killed them. But Lies of P, I had the same thing. Like most bosses I killed pretty easily until I got to the end, like the last boss of the game. That took quite a few. I stopped counting on that one. But anywho, yeah, so for this game, it's a $70 game. I wouldn't recommend it until it goes on sale, right? If it goes down in price, $40 or something like that, then I'd say go ahead and pick it up. But at $70, I'd say maybe wait until it goes cheaper, or there's other stuff to play. There's a lot of games coming out, so you got plenty of games to play. Shane's $20. I'd say $40, but he doesn't like the game. I think the game's all right. So that's our take on it. So it's all right. It's okay. It's not okay. So I'll let you decide out there what you guys think. Shane, you got anything else to say about this?
No, I just don't want it no more. I'm going to go back to Liza P.
There you go. All right. Well, let us know down in the comments below. Have you played this game? And if so, what do you think? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's all right? Is it the worst Souls-ish game that you've played, or the worst ones out there? Let us know. Have you played Liza P? What do you think of that one? If you've played that one. But anyway, let us know down in the comments below. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us continue to do what we love to do, which is talk about video games with you all. So hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. Stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.